Hey everybody, it's Jaime Pfeffer, and I am back with another pick a card reading. Thank you so much for joining me for another video today. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button. Doing so will make sure that you get my videos as they are published. Okay, so in today's reading, we are looking at what do you need to know for the week ahead that is in your highest and best interest. If you are interested in finding out that information or some potential shortcuts to your week, you are definitely going to want to stick around for this reading. If you've been here before, then you already know the drill. All you need to do is look at the 3 stacks of cards in front of you and decide which stack is speaking to you. Is it stack A, stack B, or stack C? If you haven't been here before or you're new to pick a card readings, all you need to know is that there really is no right or wrong answer. You will receive the messages that you are intended to receive. These readings are timeless, and it is totally okay to listen to more than one stack. Sometimes I receive information while I'm doing the readings that the entire stack B might want to listen to A or, something like that. So yeah, just go with your intuition, and remember, these are general readings. So it's if something doesn't resonate with you, trust yourself, or it could be that spirit is trying to get you to open up your mind a little bit more. But if you leave the reading and you're like spending your day going back and forth in your head, trying to figure out how something sits with you, I would just let it go and assume that it's not for you. If it doesn't feel uplifting and light and validating and confirming to you, you might want to look at, okay, how does this feel for me? And then from there, sometimes messages that we're given are not super direct. Actually, in my experience as a psychic and a medium and empath and all the other stuff, they're often not direct at all. They are kind of like little trails of breadcrumbs at times. So, signs from spirit can be more direct, but they can also be symbols, or it could just be spirit trying to get you to think about something differently. Okay. If you do have a question on something, though, that would really be an ideal circumstance to book a private reading with me. And you can find the link for that below. Okay. So pick your card, and then you can go down below in right below the video. There's something called the description box. It's above the comments. And when you go there, you will see some timestamps. I'll mark off, A starts at this time, B starts at this time, and C starts at this time. And you'll just be able to click on that, and it'll take you right to the start of the reading that you want to listen to. Okay? Again, make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you soon. Bye. Welcome if you chose stack A. And if you chose this stack, the crystal that you picked is the beautiful ruby. I could not find my piece of tumbled ruby today, so I actually used my ruby ring that I happen to be wearing, and this was actually a gift from my husband to me for our, I think, in 2018. So if you don't know anything about ruby, it's an absolutely gorgeous stone. It has a very powerful energy. Rubies are known as like the king of the gemstones. While this stone was quite expensive because it also includes a ring, you can get pieces of tumbled ruby for, a couple bucks. So I will definitely put a link below to ruby. And so also when I get ruby, it really speaks to me about grounding. It speaks to me about heart energy. So there's something going on here with your heart. I could feel that when I was pulling the cards before the reading. There's something going on with the heart. There's something going on with emotions. So ruby can really help to balance emotions. If maybe you're not feeling your emotions, ruby is very much known as a stone of passion. And it can also help if you're like super duper emotional, like feeling really sensitive, feeling really down, or kind of bad about yourself. So let's look at this reading, and I am going to put my ring back on. And one of the things I really love about this ruby is that I can wear it either way. So I can wear it up like this, or I can wear it down, which is how I had it originally. And sometimes I wear it down as like a signal to me that I need to pay attention to myself, because sometimes I get lost in other people's problems or other people's issues, or my energy gets kind of tangled up with theirs. And after I have that realization, I sometimes will use this to ground myself, to remind myself that I need to ground my own energy. And then I will have it pointing towards me as like a visual reminder. So I wanted to just mention that. And also before the reading, I heard Spirit was telling me that if you have any gemstones, rings that maybe you've never even considered what the stone is, like I don't know. I know like my mom has a bunch of gemstones. She has like an emerald, she just a whole bunch of them. So I don't think she got them for the properties of the gemstones, but I feel like somebody out there has a citrine ring, and I'm being told to tell you, get those gemstones out of the jewelry boxes and wear those, or put them around your house, or whatever it is for you, because they really do have a lot of power in them. So okay, so let's move on to your reading. So we're looking at, what do you need to know for your highest and best for the week ahead? What information do you need to know? So I did things a little bit differently this week, and what I was hearing is to ask the following questions. First of all, what are you dealing with, either now or this week? Second, how are you feeling about this? And then lastly, I pulled some crystal cards and chakra cards to find out what would be an ideal way for you to be able to deal with this so that it isn't hurting you or bothering you anymore. Okay? So the first thing that we're going to look at is, what are you dealing with right now? All right, so your first card is Judgment, and this is Archangel Gabriel, okay? Archangel Gabriel has the trumpet. Archangel Gabriel is very much associated with the arts and creativity. He can inspire us. He can give us divine inspiration for projects or different things like that. He is this, well, the Judgment card is in reverse. So when it's upright, when we receive this card, it's like he's coming through, he's sounding the alarm that we have another chance at something, okay? When it's in reverse, it actually means that we probably have some self-doubt going on. We probably have our inner critic in our head, or critical parent, as some people may call it. And we all have this critical inner critic voice in our head. I actually have a speech that I used to do about this that's called Meeting Emma, that was really helpful. And in that time when I was researching it, I actually read a really good book that talked about the fact that cultures worldwide, people have been interviewed. It doesn't matter if you speak English or you don't speak English or whatever. Everybody seems to have this critical voice in their head, right? So that's what the Judgment card indicates to me. It's so interesting, because so the other thing I'm seeing, which I really haven't ever seen before, is that I'm looking at this card and, this is people's hair, but I looked at it for a second and it looked like fire. It looked like fire. So you might be able to tell. It looks like little things of fire. So that critical voice can be a fiery voice. It can be a harsh voice. Also, this is what I'm guessing we're going to discover, is that this is going to be an opportunity for you to light your inner fire. That's something that Ruby can do, to actually move yourself out of this circumstance, to move yourself out of this situation. So let's find out what else we have going on. So we saw what you're dealing with. Let's see what you're feeling about it. Okay, so no surprise here. The Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups reversed, but the Queen of Cups upright, this is a super nurturing, giving, empathetic, very, very compassionate person. In reverse, this means that she's not in that energy. She actually is feeling, her cups might be running over, but with too much emotion, or I don't even want to say too much emotion. She has some thoughts in her head that actually aren't the truth. And usually these are thoughts about herself, where she is, I keep hearing the word denigrating. Normally I wouldn't use that word, but that's what I'm getting. She's degrading herself, or denigrating, or demoting herself. So this card can also come up with codependency, if you've taken on everybody else's problems, or even one person's problems, or you're allowing the actions of a single person to really affect you, to really affect your emotions, which if you're empathic, that's a really difficult thing to not do, right? Especially if you grew up in a household where your boundaries and your feelings and emotions were crossed continually. If there were no boundaries, right? You may attract people who don't really have boundaries, and you might not have very good boundaries because you are never taught how to have good boundaries, okay? So, how you're feeling is probably sad. The fact that we have the ruby, you might be feeling angry, but what I'm really getting here is that you're holding back love from yourself. You're actually not purposely, of course. You're like pushing yourself down and thinking that you did something wrong that caused this issue, whatever this issue is. And the truth is that you are innocent. You are 100% innocent. You're guiltless in this, okay? I want to say that. And you didn't do anything wrong, especially if somebody else projected something onto you that triggered something in you. So I feel like this may have triggered something in you from your childhood. And so it reminded you of somebody from your childhood. In any event, whatever it is for you, I just want you to know that, this other person also, this is not about, me versus you, or I'm better than you, or you hurt me and you were wrong and all of that stuff. Anybody that comes into your life, honestly, most of the people that come into your life are there to help you, even though it may seem extremely, extremely difficult. And the last thing that you want to think about is, this person that hurt you is actually really helping you. Okay. So if that doesn't sit with you, that's okay. That's still something that I sometimes struggle with. But when I can bring myself up to a high enough perspective above the situation, I can see how painful situations caused me to learn and grow and maybe pull my energy back or speak up for myself, that type of thing. But yeah, there's some kind of fire going on here. So, and there's also mental stuff going on. And then you can see the water. So that's the emotions, right? And the way I'm looking at the card right now, it's kind of green. It looks kind of murky. So I think that whatever has happened, it's triggered you and it's brought up these feelings from the past that need to be healed, okay? It's totally okay to have your feelings, and furthermore, these feelings really need to come out. If you're not sharing these feelings, I'm not going to tell you to go share them with someone who could potentially be unsafe and do harm to you. Whether, and I mean, as an empath, like that could be anything from, somebody giving you the cold shoulder. I'm not necessarily saying they're going to scream in your face, but like even certain energetic actions can be very painful for empaths. But what you are being guided to do is to journal your feelings. All your feelings are all okay. It's the problems happen when we bottle ourselves up and we keep those feelings inside, okay? So what you want to do, what I'm hearing to guide you on, and it's really your choice. I don't want to force anybody to do anything that they don't feel comfortable with. But what I'm hearing is to journal your feelings and then bring in compassion for yourself. What you really want to do is bring in a real sense of compassion, warmth, and love for yourself, which I know you have because normally you're the Queen of Cups upright. That's like one of the most loving individuals or energies in the deck, okay? It's compassionate, it's nurturing, it's like the divine, it's like unconditionally loving. Sometimes though, to the point where the Queen of Cups forgets about her. She gives all of this unconditional love to so many other people, and then she gets exhausted or she's not getting the support that she needs. And the way that we fix that is we start giving that support to ourselves first, and then we can give it out to others, okay? So that's what I'm getting with that. And actually, I just heard to flip these around. So because you've got your solution now. And now that you've got your solution, the judgment card will come back around, and that's you getting a second chance. So you're actually getting a second chance. You're getting your second chance, even though there might be like a situation or another person involved in this. That isn't even the case for this. They're there to help you grow and change here. But what this is really about is about you. This is about you. So if you can open up to yourself, be compassionate and be there for yourself, right? This is about more than just going and getting your nails done, like that type of self-care. This is about being vulnerable with yourself, really honoring your feelings and not judging them. And if you do find yourself judging them, not judging the judging. This is a process. This is not something that you're going to like, okay, I'm going to get this in one day, right? I just want to make sure. This is just about being radically self-loving, unconditionally loving to yourself, and just being there for yourself, just like you are with other people in your life, okay? And when you do that, you're giving yourself a second chance, and you're going to balance yourself back out into right side up, Queen of Cups. So let's find out what your other card is. Okay. So perfect. This is perfect. So this is the sacral chakra. And I talked about this could be a little bit of codependency. And, I don't want to scare anybody with that term. I will tell you that I am a recovering codependent. I was in Al-Anon and Codependence Anonymous for many years. And I am now in another program called Adult Children of Alcoholics and Dysfunctional Families. So when I first heard those terms, it was like, oh my gosh, I'm terrible, and all that stuff. When I say codependency, and it's not something that I'm in every second of every day, it's something that I was taught. It was passed down to me from past generations. And it's something that I have had to unlearn. And there are times when I can find myself kind of getting back into that energy, and I'm aware of it, and it's like, okay, wait a second, take a breath. I've got all these tools. So I never want to diagnose anybody either. So anyways, you'll know if it's for you. But codependency really is, originally it was like para-alcoholism. So it was the person that was like the counterpart to the addict or the alcoholic, okay? It was the person that enabled that alcoholic or addict, allowed them to keep doing what they were doing, even if it was hurting them, okay? Even if it was hurting the other party. Not speaking up for themselves, low self-esteem, but it can also just be having a real outer focus on other people instead of caring about yourself. And I will also tell you there is a similarity between codependents and empathic people, but what I want to say about that is I heard an amazing one-liner that I love. And it is the difference between codependency and and being an empath is boundaries. Okay. So it's understanding when maybe you're giving too much and being able to pull that back and focus on yourself. It's understanding if your mind is, or your energy field really is being just bombarded with other people's energy. And if you are an empath, that happens to you. And being able to say, you know what, I need to separate myself from this right now because I can't even think because I've got so many other energies inside of me, okay? Anyways, the sacral chakra is where all this stuff lives. That's where codependency lies. That's where addictions lie. That's where creativity lies, though, too. And it's also where joy lies. So that's why it's orange, okay? So what this is saying is, this is tiger eye stone. Oh, so beautiful. Tiger eye is such an amazing, empowering stone. So what I think is that once you can get your thoughts, this inner critic, I don't want to say out of the way, but sometimes we need to give our inner critic a job, right? Like I'm talking about after you do the work and you're aware of like what these thoughts are saying to you and why you're, of course you're going to feel this way if your inner critic is saying to you, you suck or you're a terrible person or whatever. And not everybody's inner critic talks this clearly. It's kind of like what I was talking about at the beginning with the messages from spirit. Like a lot of people are walking around with this chatterbox going on in their mind and they have no idea that it's there. Okay. That's an awakening. It's a spiritual awakening to discover, to become aware of the inner critic. That is a spiritual awakening right there. Okay. What this is saying is instead of letting these nerves and this inner critic really get on you and get under your skin and, take over your sacral chakra, the sacral chakra is also called the navel chakra, and it is also our most delicate chakra center, okay? What this is saying is turn your fears into passion, okay? Turn your fear of change into excitement for change. All right, so I feel like you may be afraid about speaking up about something, or you may be afraid of looking at your feelings. You may, even though you're an empath, okay, and you may actually let other people talk about their feelings so much, but you may unconsciously stuff your feelings or not give your feelings the audience that they deserve, okay? And I can totally relate to this. I'm going to tell you that. Like I thought that I was so listening to my feelings, and I discovered there was like a whole nother layer under there, okay? Anyways, Tiger Eye will help you do that. It will also help strengthen your sacral chakra and your solar plexus chakra. And that in turn will help strengthen your energy field. Okay. I also have to tell you that I was really guided to put out this new tapestry today. And this is a moth. Okay. So a moth to a flame. This is about going toward the light. This is about going toward the light, and this is about shining light on things, okay? Moths are drawn to light. Even though it hurts them, you are not going to be hurt. I want to tell that to you. But the other thing I want to tell you is that I do feel that you are such a bright light that certain energies are drawn to you, okay? And it's so hard to not personalize those energies of those people. It's like, there's certain people out there who are in so much pain that that's their world, right? They walk around in negativity, in lower energy as a victim. They everything's horrible, and they hate life, and they snap at people or lash out at people. That isn't because of you, okay? And if you're anything like me, you've probably attracted this type of person in your life, and they've, abused you emotionally or verbally or energetically or whatever it is, okay? What you feel in those people is their stuff, okay? It has nothing to do with you, except maybe that they can feel how light you are. They can feel how much light you have within you, okay? So, what I'm getting at is it is totally okay to separate yourself from these types of people. And also, it's totally okay to have boundaries with your own mind. Okay? Yeah, I'm like seeing this ruby. There's this heart here, and it's like head versus heart, head versus heart. I don't know if any of you guys are Libras. I'm a Libra, or even if you're not, you might just have Libra in your chart. I'm a Libra, and it's like it's a cardinal air sign, which means that we're in our head. We're analytical. We think through a lot of things, okay? But Libra is also ruled by Venus, and Venus is all about the heart. It's all about harmony. It's all about everything going smoothly. Libra is the peacekeeper. Libra is also, what do you call it? The scales, right? Talk about judgment. So you could definitely be a Libra. Taurus is also, I have a Taurus moon. Taurus is also ruled by Venus. So it's like, Anyways, what this ruby card is telling you, and this card together is like, you've got some yellow going on here, some mental processes going on, and it's this inner critic. It's the thoughts. Okay? The thoughts aren't going to go away overnight, and they may never go away. Honestly, I'm kind of the mind of like, let's integrate this stuff. We've got to go back and look at it, but do I think that it's possible for a human being to ever completely eradicate any negative, all negative thoughts, of which we have about 65,000 a day? No, I don't. But that's my belief, right? And that the cool thing about beliefs is that beliefs are simply thoughts that we continue to think, right? So there may come a day where I say, you know what, that's not my belief anymore, okay? If you don't believe that, that's awesome. More power to you. That belief for me is actually kind of a limited belief, right? But anyways, what this is saying is, and what I'm trying to say is that we all have this inner critic, okay? It's really helpful when we can hear this inner critic and we can recognize this inner critic, because then what we can do is we can realize it. Here's our awareness, right? The judgment card is the awareness, the coming to, the aha moment, okay? And Gabriel's saying, here's your aha. And then we can come to it with this Queen of Cup energy of compassion, of nurturing, and so compassion and passion, right? So the Ruby card also talks about passion. It also talks about abundance, okay? Abundance of beautiful heart energy. And that's what I feel with this stack. If you picked this stack, you have a beautiful, beautiful abundance of heart energy, okay? There is plenty for you, and you also deserve to have this heart energy, this beautiful heart energy that you have. You are not obligated to give this energy to anybody else. And for me as an empath and as a light worker for a long time, there are times when it's like, I'm going to do a video. Like, I just know it's time. It's time for me to give, right? But then there were other times when whatever it was that I was doing, whether it was my Facebook page or videos or articles or, there's certain people that come along and they're like, why don't you do a video on this? Or it could even be with like monetary donations. I've given a lot of monetary donations. That's something that I enjoy doing, but I don't enjoy doing it, and it is not genuine when other people come along and try to take it from me or force me to do it, okay? And Ruby will really help you with strengthening your vibration, okay? And having this mindset of abundance where you can say no and you're not going to feel guilty about it. And also you can endure and you can start recognizing and also being passionate, just like I'm being passionate in this video. Passion doesn't necessarily mean that you're like jumping into bed with someone, although it could mean that. It's about grounding yourself in your root chakra and bringing that, making a connection between your root chakra and your heart chakra. And I have to tell you, I kind of got off for a minute because I heard something and I wasn't sure what it was because there's nobody here at my house. And then I remembered my kids have the Alexa set to start playing music at 10:05 every day in the morning. So music may help you to get into a passionate energy. So that also came through, and wow. And so the message of Ruby is, I thrive in all areas of my life. So this isn't about surviving anymore. If you grew up in a dysfunctional family, you learn techniques and behaviors so that you could survive, okay? Ruby is about thriving. I mean, when I think of Ruby, and this was coming up for me earlier, I keep seeing this queen, okay? I keep seeing this golden crown on this queen's head and this gorgeous, I don't even know what this is, but it's amazing. It kind of looks like a trophy. It's really beautiful. Comment below if you know. And also my kids, it's so interesting how spirit comes through. My kids play this game called Animal Crossing, and it's on the Nintendo Switch. And I keep seeing these cliffs back here, and it's reminding me of that game. And so another way that spirit is telling me to tell you that you can get back into this compassionate, innocent, pure feeling of you, because that inner critic is not you. It's not you. It's here to keep you safe, but it isn't you. And oftentimes it can pound us into the ground, right? So that we can't move, or we don't feel sure of ourselves, or we feel doubtful of ourselves. Anyways, what my guides are telling me is that playing games, doing things that you would do as a child. I used to play the Nintendo when I was a little girl, and my kids just got one about a couple months ago, and I love it. I love playing with them to the point where I even play by myself sometimes. It's like, it's a time where I am not even aware of what time it is. I'm just enjoying myself, losing track of time. When you do that kind of stuff for yourself, it's very nurturing, and that's what they want you to know, okay? That's what they want you to do this coming week if you have an issue that comes up. They want you to turn your fear of change into excitement for change. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Please, as always, let me know if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Give the post a like, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi to everybody that chose stack B. And if you chose this stack, you chose this awesome, this is called Bismuth. It is such a cool material. You can kind of see it's got like a rainbow sheen to it. So I will put a link to this below, and we will look at it a little bit more as we go through the reading. There we go. Kind of looks like a little skyscraper. So that will go there. So what I'm doing this week, it's a little bit different than what I've done in the past. And we are looking at what are you dealing with either right now or what are you going to be dealing with later this week. How are you feeling about it? And then we're going to look at what you can do if you choose to make these energies work for you. Okay, so first, what are you dealing with? Okay, so you got the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. So pentacles stand for work, material types of things, money. They're actually like gold coins, right? So upright, the Eight of Pentacles is all about somebody that you see here who's working hard. This person is working very hard to create money or material wealth of some kind. When this is in reverse, well, eights too, I want to talk about, well, they represent infinity. If you put the eight on the side, it looks like an infinity symbol. So that just popped into my head because I actually saw one of my bracelets earlier that just happened to be laying like that. So, and then eights also represent prosperity. So in reverse, the Eight of Pentacles can indicate that you might be bored at your job. You might have lost passion for your job, or you could actually be working too much. Okay, so it's like one extreme or the other. You either are bored and are not as interested, or you're not putting as much focus on your job, or you're working so hard at your job that you're putting too much in. Okay, so that's what you're going to be dealing with. And your next card is the Page of Swords. So Swords energy in reverse. Swords energy is all about things like the intellect, the mind, ideas, different things like that. And pages, there are court cards in the tarot. So pages are the youngest energy. So they often indicate a younger energy, even could be a child or like a college age, maybe a student. They often do indicate students because they can indicate going back to school, learning. They're also considered messengers in tarot. So they give messages. So we're dealing with someone who's young. It could be you. I did say, how are you feeling? So that's what this card represented for this spread for me today. You could be tapping into, if this is the case for you, let's say this is you, okay, and you're feeling either not interested in work or you're putting so much in work that there's almost like a workaholism going on, okay? In either one of those circumstances, let's say there was a line between my hands, right? And so, okay, so you see the middle, right? And we've got one extreme here and one extreme here, okay? That's kind of what the page is telling us about. So we want to be able to find a middle ground. So depending on how this energy sits with you, this energy, you're either going to need to bring your focus back into work and do something to get yourself motivated about your work again. Although I also just remembered that the Page of Swords, so swords are also about communication. So the Page of Swords could be telling you that you need to speak up about something. So if you're feeling bored with your work, and I'm just saying work, but it could also be about your home life, it can also be about a project that you're working on. Yeah, so if you are bored with your work, you might want to talk to somebody at your job and tell them what's going on, or you might need to ask for more responsibility. Or then we have the other end of the spectrum where if you're giving too much into your work, you're going to need to get some help. You're going to need to speak up and say, this is too much for me. Because the Page of Swords in reverse can also signify somebody who makes too many promises or overcommits themselves, and then they find themselves unable to actually fulfill those commitments that they make, okay? I just heard the word obligation, and I also want to tell you that, when it really comes down to it, we don't have that many obligations in life. I think a lot of us were taught, at least I'll speak for myself, I was taught, by well-meaning people, but by schools or religions or society or whoever, that I had all these obligations. But at the end of the day, we're all creating our own reality, and we're all in charge of our schedules and what kind of obligations we really want to have in our life, what kind of commitments we really want, and whether or not we can release some of those, right? So let's see what's going on for you in terms of what you can do. Okay, so this card, it's the heart chakra, and it talks about the stone jade. So I'll put a link for that below. Jade is an excellent stone for wealth creation. So if you are in this situation, maybe you're just slaving away and you feel like you're not getting anything out of it, right? Jade is a way that you can help yourself welcome that abundance in And also, I can only speak for myself, but I have done work for a long period of time, over 5 years, where I don't make a lot of direct income for what I'm doing. But I know for a fact that I am receiving income in abundance in other areas of my life. It isn't directly coming in from what I'm doing, but it's still coming in. Okay. So I felt like there was a need to say that. There's a need to keep your heart open instead of closing it off and cutting yourself off from things. It's okay if you feel hurt to, you want to have compassion with yourself. And this talks about resolving your conflicts with compassion. I'm really feeling like this is an internal struggle. I feel like this conflict is internal. Like maybe there's one part of you that either wants to move on from a job or wants to be doing something different, but there's another part of you that's like, no, you shouldn't do this. Shouldn't. Or there's part of you that wants to give up some of your responsibilities, and there's this other part of you that's holding back from speaking up about it. So I'm curious to see. I'd love if you leave me a comment and let me know what this is for you. So compassion, have compassion. None of us are intentionally trying to hurt anybody. And I know for me, and I can speak for a lot of my women clients and students, especially people that are givers or highly sensitive or empathic, it's hard to break that cycle. And we may have been taught that other people's work or life or livelihood or well-being is more important than ours. Whether or not it was intentional, people do have this belief. And so it's okay for you to have these conflicting parts of yourself. And it's also okay for you to make new choices in your life. Okay? If you decide that it's time for you to do that. And your last card, okay, so it says bismuth is actually a metalloid. Yeah, I was like hesitant to call it a crystal. It's a metal. And it helps all of the chakras, which anytime you've got something that's rainbow, you can pretty much guarantee, or clear, it's going to help all of your chakras. The keywords for bismuth are transformation, cohesion. I love that because I talked about perhaps having an inner conflict, or it could be an outer conflict, but you still want to resolve the conflicts with passion, right? And change. So we talked about change a lot in card A, or stack A. So I want to encourage you to check that out if you have time or if you want more information. And the really cool thing about bismuth is the affirmation is, I am complete. So instead of thinking that you have to do more or be more or you can't be who you are, it's important that you realize now that you are complete. And bismuth being a metal, it's heavier, and metals are very, very, very grounding. Okay, so if you're somebody that has a hard time with energy, if it seems to overload you or overwhelm you, or you're a thinker, right? Like I'm a thinker. That's just part of who I am. I'm a Libra. I spend a lot of time in my head thinking about different things. I spend a lot of time analyzing. I'm also an intuitive, so I also spend a lot of time in my heart. But I no longer try to fight the way that I think about things, because just because you think about things doesn't make you a bad person. It's just, there are thinkers, there are feelers, there are perceivers, like there's a whole host of things. So bismuth is a great crystal for that. And it's so interesting because I see he's got like a metal sword. And then the other thing I thought of when I was talking is that anytime a swords card is out, we could be talking about an air sign, which would be Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini. So you could have that in your chart, or the person that you're dealing with could. And pentacles are all about earth signs. And the earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Okay, so I'm really curious how that lands with you, and I would love to hear your comments. Please make sure to go down below and let me know, okay? I will talk to you again, and I hope you have a great week. Bye. Hi, Stack C, and welcome to your reading. And if you chose this stack, you chose this gorgeous piece of sodalite. Sodalite is very similar to a crystal that many people are familiar with, and that crystal is called lapis lazuli. Sodalite is exactly the same as lapis, except lapis has pyrite in it, which is also known as fool's gold. So it has these lines in it that are gold, but sodalite does not. Sodalite is a great third eye crystal. It's wonderful for increasing your intuition. And I will put a link below for sodalite. I'm also noticing this card is blue as well as the crystal, and I'm noticing the blue on my jacket. So I definitely feel Archangel Michael here with you. You have some protection with you this coming week and strength. I feel like you are building some kind of foundation, and it's going to lead to really good things. So and I see my nails now too. So they're telling me that you're grounded and you're running that grounding all the way up your chakras to your third eye. Okay. So that is something that's going on for you. And I think that you're going to be pleasantly surprised at the work that you're doing because it's going to start paying off for you. So let's see what we have for your cards. What I did this week is I took a card for what are you going to be dealing with, or what are you dealing with right now? What are you feeling about it? And then just some general advice about what you can do about it if you need to do anything. Okay, so let's see. What are you feeling? Beautiful. Okay, so your first card out is Temperance. This is a beautiful card. This is about balance. Totally. You see this crown in the distance, and it's shining, and then you see this angel here, and the angel is pouring the water from one chalice to the other chalice. Okay, nature's around, and you'll also notice here that this angel has 1 foot on land and 1 foot in the water. So what I'm getting is there's going to be 2 parts of your life. Could be work and home, it could be spirituality and then the material world, it could be intuition and the material world, or head and the heart. In any event, oh, here's the red again too, and the blue. So it's like you've got a connection from your root chakra all the way up to your third eye chakra. So you've got balance. You could also be a Libra. Libra is always aiming for balance. So I'm feeling too, you've got mental balance this week. So that's really positive, or at least right now. So let's see how you're feeling about it. Okay. So you got the Page of Pentacles, but it was in reverse. So what I'm really feeling is that I think you've pulled your energy back from something recently. That's what the feeling is. And now you're getting balance as a result of that. I think maybe you're somebody who was giving to people that weren't really giving back to you. And so you decided to pull your energy back from that and get yourself grounded in your own projects, in your own life, in your own body. And so the Page of Pentacles can indicate a message about money coming in. So reversed, it doesn't mean that money's not going to be coming in. What I'm getting is that sometimes the Page of Pentacles, it's a younger energy, and it can be like just kind of a little kind of like crumbs. And so what I'm feeling is that you've pulled your energy back, and your energy is so valuable. And what you're saying is, I'm not going to be settling for this little piddly amount anymore. I'm going to be more balanced, and I'm practicing giving more to myself and then giving back to others, and then giving to myself and then giving to others, so that you're not running yourself dry. So I'd love to know if this resonates with you. Leave me a comment below if it does. Let's look at what your other cards say, just to get an idea of what else you need to know. Okay, so you may have pulled back from these other people and you're balanced, and now you're going to start working on your dreams, okay? So it says dreams are where your mind translates the divine. This could mean dreams like sleeping dreams, but I'm actually getting the feeling that this is about your waking dreams, okay? When you think about, not even really think about, when you let your mind wander and you notice yourself thinking about or landing on, I'll even just say that, landing on something that's a dream for you. And that doesn't even have to necessarily be something that you're accomplishing or you want to accomplish. I feel like our society talks a lot about dreams as like these big goals and all that kind of stuff. This could just be doing something that you enjoyed doing as a child. Or, yeah, and your mind translate the divine, because the divine wants us to do things that bring us joy. Okay. When we're doing those types of things, that is when we receive information and intuition. And the divine, I believe, moves us to do these things because it knows that they feel good for us, right? So whatever it is, whether it's doing some like inner child type of stuff, things that you did as a child or things that you do now that feel very soft and gentle and comfortable and that you feel so safe doing, okay? But it could also mean your nighttime dream. So if you want to get yourself a piece of sodalite and put sodalite under your pillow, I definitely think that would benefit you. So let's look at what else you have. Okay. Out of chaos comes creation, and it talks about chakra balance and cycles. So what I'm getting is that you pulled your energy back, and I think that you did this because you either felt resentful and realized you weren't getting what you deserve, or it wasn't an equal give and take, or you were just you were so overwhelmed by other people's energy, and for whatever reason you realized, I need to separate from this so that I can actually be in my own energy and figure out what's mine and what isn't mine, okay? So there's a couple different crystals that they talk about here. They do talk about red jasper, which is a grounding crystal. So if you feel like you're not grounded, and not being grounded means you're in your head, but it's not just that you're thinking about something, it's like obsession, okay? The red jasper is very grounding and it can help you feel more stable and more secure, okay? But also, so can painting your nails red, right? Like sometimes I do that. Sometimes I use other crystals. This is a ruby. I wore this crystal today so that I could feel more grounded and more secure, okay? Then you've also got Amazonite, carnelian, that's another beautiful one, and peach moonstone, right? And cycles. So that has to do with lunar cycles. We're not always in a action oriented cycle. Sometimes it's time for reception, right? It's time to receive information instead of going after it. And I really feel like maybe you've pulled back from pursuing something because it was like you weren't receiving. Maybe you got a message that this person wasn't that interested, or the situation wasn't a fit right now, right? But what it's saying to you is you could have been in chaos, but now you're going to create something. So that's why it says out of chaos comes creation. So let's look at your next card. Okay, embrace the balance between earth and spirit. And that's what I talked about in this card, right? The temperance card. I mentioned that the person or the angel has 1 foot on land and 1 foot on water. So this is about not getting too overly focused on one thing to the detriment of yourself or even other areas of your life, okay? Embrace the balance between earth and spirit. So this could also be embrace the balance between your head and your heart. And the crystals associated with this are clear quartz, rose quartz, and hematite. And hematite is another metal. I talked about the metals being grounded. It was actually in stack B, so you may want to check that out. Their crystal was bismuth, which is a crystal of transformation. But as you can see, you've got chakra balance twice here in these cards, so I want to recommend that you do some chakra balancing. In my last video, I had a chakra heart it's a heart, it's probably about this big. And it's got all the different, it has different crystals for the chakras. And so I will put a link for that below again, because it's so helpful. And it's the type of thing where you can just hold it. I mean, you could even get 2. Now that I'm thinking about that, I think I'm going to get a second one. You could get 2 and hold both of them and ask the energies of those crystals to balance your other energies. So I just walked over because this was on the floor of my meditation room. So this is what I'm talking about. It's this chakra heart, this 7 chakra heart. So it's root chakra, and then you go all the way through. And oh yeah, it's lapis in here, not sodalite, because it's got the gold all the way through to amethyst, and that's your root all the way down, all the way up to your crown, okay? So that can help you really balance your chakras. And when your chakras are balanced as an energetic person, especially an empath, you're going to feel so much better. You're not going to have these imbalances all over your body or in your energy field. But it's very important to understand that we have wounds sometimes in these chakras, or, this isn't something that you do once and it's done. I actually balance my chakras every day. It just depends on how sensitive you are and where you are in your journey. So we'll put that there. And then your last card is sodalite. So sodalite is all about guidance. It's all about intuition, and it's also about focus. Okay. So and right here it says third eye and throat chakras. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling for you to go back to stack B and check that out, because we talked about having the need to speak up as well. So you're going to receive guidance. Your intuition is speaking to you, but also you don't want to get so up in the ethers that you don't have any focus, right? So that's why you need to be grounded. That's why you want to ground yourself and root yourself in this physical reality, because you want to have this balance. And when we do have balance, we're much more open to the wealth and riches of the universe coming in for us, right? So that we aren't just getting this piddly little amount of pentacles. We're actually getting like a solid foundation of something. I once had someone ask me, like, why wouldn't I want to spend all my time in the ethers? And I totally understand that. It's can be much more pleasant up there, right? But we did sign up to be here on Earth at this time to feel things in the human form. Okay. That's one reason. All right. And also I had a period of time where, when I first discovered my psychic abilities, where I spent a lot of time in the upper chakras. And I feel like a lot of empathic people do this and they don't even realize it. But what happens is you start to get all of these ideas and they're amazing. And it's like you're so connected with source, or, the divine. But if you don't have the grounding in the first, in the first chakra, and really the first three chakras, if you don't have a strong root, sacral, or solar plexus chakra, you will find it very difficult to ground or bring down your ideas into reality and to manifest them on the physical plane, okay? You also will probably struggle with self-doubt or confidence, because that's where those two lie in chakras, in the second and third chakras, okay? Oh, this is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Because after what I was just talking about, but also because we got this balance card. So this is really about being balanced between your head and your heart. And I can't remember if I talked about this, and I think it was stack A. I talked about this a lot. So you might want to also check out stack A. I am guided by logic and intuition. So yeah, you don't want to just be up in the ethers, just like what I just said. You don't want to just be in the ethers. You want to open your mind to this guidance, which, if you just started experiencing this guidance, it can feel just so amazing to you, and you just want to get the guidance like all the time, and you will. But it's just important also that you allow your mind to come into a play. You allow yourself to have a physical reality, and you aren't just spending all of your time in the 5D world, right? In the spiritual realm. Okay. So I hope that reading is so helpful to you this week. Please make sure to go down below and leave me a comment. I really love hearing from you guys, and I love hearing how things are going for you. And if you don't feel comfortable leaving personal information in the comments, feel free to email me. My email address is jp@jamiepfeffer.com. Okay, have a great week. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.